GM. We're back again after a short hiatus with another duo pod. Andy and I are going to be talking about some of the things we're excited about going into 2024, what Andy's building with IKB, maybe some of the things we're angel investing in or trading, some real life stuff. Obviously, we'll talk about some fantasy sports and some other stuff, but yeah, want to kick it off with just it's been a long holiday season. Hope everyone's doing well. We'll be recording about 14 episodes of the podcast in 2 weeks, so that'll be exciting to finally get back in the lab, get some IRL content out there for everybody. And yeah, before we dive into anything though, Andy, how has your winter been? You know, all the family time, holidays.
Yeah, can't complain too much. Good amount of family time stuff. Was home for not too long. Got to see all my siblings and do all that, which is nice. It had been a while. Saw my grandparents, which is always good because they're all getting really up there in
Oh my
age.
goodness,
And
dude.
so,
The grandparent stuff, like doing the pod has made me realize how little I have long conversations with my family, specifically my grandparents. And I have all these pictures. Like every year I try to take a bunch of pictures when we go home for the holidays, and then I compare them like, oh, how does everyone look this year versus last year? And for me, this is like the first year where my grandma has looked better this year than last year. So
that's good.
that was cool. It's been a minute, but the family time is so important. I tried really hard to just keep my phone on silent for 3 days and just
Mm,
talk to everybody, and it was good. Not a lot of politics, which is rare for my family. Normally, it's like half my family's diehard Republican, half my family's diehard Democrat, and then they're just like fighting over illegal immigration and Trump at the dinner table. It wasn't any of that, so I felt pretty good. But it's so important to spend that time with them. Like I've been trying to get my family to come visit us more now that we're in a bigger house and stuff too, because I realize I don't talk to them nearly as much as I should be, and
hmm
it's tough because you see everyone aging, and yeah, it's more important than like trading the market and making money
yeah,
to see the fucking fam.
yeah. Like, what's the
Uh,
point if you're not getting to take advantage of that stuff?
right? Like the whole point of making money is so that you have time to then spend that time with your family and friends, and not worry about the money so much. But
Yeah.
we're fully back in the money worrying mode now, though. Back home, it's after New Year's. Seems like every day something new's popping off. There's I don't know, like a dozen different sectors of the space that I think are exciting or semi-exciting. Um, Curious for you, have you been messing around with anything in the Bitcoin land, like ordinals or BRC20s or any of that stuff?
I haven't been that much other than like owning some stuff that is kind of like adjacent to it on Ethereum. Mostly just like haven't had enough time. Um,
What are some of your like Ethereum adjacent bags that you're
so
talking about?
the only thing that I have is movie, um,
Yeah.
but that is like awesome of, and I'm just kind of chilling. Um, I think it's cool. I see there's a few people like Moon and a few others who are really bull posting ordinals, and I tend to agree. I think that like they're gonna do pretty well. I just am spending so much time on IKB and other stuff that I haven't really had the bandwidth to spend time on it. You know?
Yeah, Moon is actually the one who tried to get me to mint monkeys, and I didn't fully understand the value prop. He was telling me like 2 days before Christmas,
Mhm.
you need to get into this, pay attention. This is going to be a hype new thing. And I'm like, I'm just going to go spend time with my family for a few days and not look at this. And then I come back, and the first night I'm home, I look at these monkeys at like 12:30 in the morning, send a transaction through to buy a floor, and it doesn't go through for 3.5 hours. So I'm up until like 5 a.m. trying to get a second monkey because you can't send another transaction when one is pending. Like it errors and says you own too much or you don't own enough Bitcoin, even if you do. So it was this very frustrating experience, but it's so bad it's kind of endearing. Like there's something about it being 10 plus minutes or, on average 10 minutes that it's painful. You're in suspense. You're kind of just praying. Like there's definitely people who are smarter than me who can like copy my transaction with a higher fee and
Mhm.
buy things that are pending. I don't know how they do it. I need to know, but something about how bad it is made me like weirdly bullish on it. Um, there's so many people on Twitter who are just like, "Oh, the user experience just sucks," and like I'm definitely there complaining about it. But it also made me realize, like, if it sucks this much, like maybe there's some upside here that people are just writing off because it sucks so bad.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. I mean, I think anytime that it's like really hard to use something or do something, it's like probably pretty bullish, to be honest. If people are
oh
still
yeah, no,
using
it's
it.
normally a sign, and it's not that hard, right? Like it's
Hmm.
15-30 minutes of your time. It's, you make an X first wallet, swap some shit over to Bitcoin. It takes like a block or two, and then you're in. It's not like it's this whole new fucking. It's like we're on so many different L2s already on Ethereum. We're already on Solana. We're already in the Cosmos ecosystem. Like we're already doing all this other shit anyway. It's not that much
Hmm.
different. It's just slower.
Yeah.
Speaking of Solana and the other ecosystems, last time we talked, you were pretty heavy portfolio wise in Solana. Are you still um, close to that same allocation, or have you been reallocating as price goes up? Or I'm definitely curious how you're looking at Solana because I think my cost basis on my Solana bag is like $75, so it's not great. But I've been adding more as it went up.
Yeah, I haven't sold any. I haven't added any more. Mostly just because I had a lot.
You're comfy, yeah.
But I I've been buying and staking TIA as like the
Yep.
other kind of thing. Um,
Did you get the Dimension
haven't
airdrop, or are you eligible for it?
at least a few of my wallets are. Um,
Did you
Honestly,
split
it's like a
up your
pain in the
TIA?
ass
Like,
to double
um,
check.
say you have, like, hypothetically you have 10,000 TIA. Are you spreading that across like 20 wallets at 500 each, or 40 wallets at 250 each? Or my dumbass is
Yes,
using
I
two
am.
wallets. I have a few thousand TIA, and it's just split into two wallets. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I should be sibling a little harder.
I have more wallets than that. I'll just
Yeah.
say that much.
Do you do it all
Um,
manually, or do you have an auto
yeah, I did it
clicker?
all manually.
Yeah.
I
Did you
just kind of did
stake
like a
all the
couple a
TIA
day every
too,
day.
or did you keep
Yeah,
some liquid?
staked all of it. I
Chat,
don't own that much, and basically my thing is like, if I'm buying this, I'm buying it to stake and
stake
like
it.
I'll
Yeah,
hold it for a
that
while.
21
So
day unlock got me a little, you know, not. I guess paranoid isn't the right word, but it made me not want to stake all of it just in case there's that dumb day where the price goes up like 2x or something, and I want to take some off.
yeah.
Uh, but it's been nice. There was another drop today. I think it's Saga.
Hmm.
But you needed to have the TIA staked on December 1st, I believe. And I was
Something like
off
that.
by
Yeah.
like a few days, sadly. So I didn't get any of that. But it's like you only needed to have
23.
204 TIA staked to get the large percentile, or like the largest airdrop. So it's fairly small barrier to entry. That's like 3 grand right now. And I'm sure other airdrops are going to use different rankings, but it feels like a pretty low. Like you could take like 5 grand, put it in TIA, stake it, and just kind of forget about it, and hopefully get more than that in airdrops over the next few months.
I think the odds are pretty high that you get more than that in airdrops over the next few
I
months, to
even
be
got
honest.
like IRL friends into TIA. so
Nice.
so what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Sold them the whole narrative of like you buy it, you stake it, you wait for me to text you that you got something. Like uh
Yeah, I got a few of my IRL friends to buy Solana a while back. Uh,
nice.
so
My
I don't
my
know
one
why.
friend who's in TIA was minting like fracks and shit with us on Solana
Oh,
last
there you go.
last bull cycle. So he was super ready to just like
Hmm.
go into a new chain, get in the fucking weeds. He sadly wasn't DCAing into Solana in the bear market. I think he
Hmm.
actually thought it might go to zero for a little bit, but then he bought back in November, so it's working out for him. But outside of the L1s, I'm in Sol, I'm in TIA. I recently just bought the Arbitrum dip. It was like 2 days ago. We just had a 30% dip. Basically woke up to all my group chats going like, yo, what the fuck's going on? The block released a thing about matrix report thing and price is low. And we've basically fully retraced that. But the Arbitrum and the optimism play, like I was looking at my ETH bag and I was thinking to myself, if I'm bullish on ETH, shouldn't I be more bullish on Arbitrum and Optimism? They feel like this like higher beta play, almost like Lido, where
Yeah.
staked ETH is just so boring to hold. Um, I've been converting it into Bitcoin actually because of the fucking ordinals, but it's just I don't know, man. I'm sure it'll rip. I'm sure it's fine, but it just feels so slow compared to everything else going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like that's kind of where I feel too. It's like Solana, Celestia. I was an angel investor in Arbitrum forever ago and still have that. I have like a decent chunk
That
of
unlocks
Arbitrum.
actually in 3 months.
Yeah, 2 or 3 months. Yeah.
That was kind of my play behind buying the liquid ARB token. It's like I think there's room to run between now and the unlock. So I was like, all right, let me buy some of what's going to unlock and maybe play the short game.
Hmm.
Um, are
Yeah,
you?
I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I get a little lost in all the different like farming things I could be doing on all the different L1s and L2s. Like it's one thing I really like about TIA and even Soul to an extent, but Soul's still kind of complex for me. Like I have uh 80% of my Solana in either like Jito Soul or Marinade Soul or the Marinade like locked staking that isn't liquid. And then with all the Jito and all the Marinade Soul that is liquid, I'm supplying basically all of it on MarginFi and then like borrowing a very small amount of USDT and USDC against it just to get points to farm it. But I'm not like in Arbitrum and Optimism or on base farming a whole bunch of shit. I have been farming that Cambria game just because I think it's really fun. I'm like top 10 in points, but it's not, I have no idea what I'm going to get for these points. It's just we're praying. Kind of
Yeah,
faded out of the shitters. Like I'm not buying Bonk or the Soul shitters or
no, I'm just not good at that stuff. I've just learned my lesson.
the
I'm just
only
not
time I make
interested.
money on the shitcoin is when I'm in a group chat with Sobi and he shares it and it's under 500k market cap. Those are the only ones I seem to make money on. Like when I buy the thing that's 5 mil because I think like it can go to 25 mil, it just goes down 80% instead. Uh, Luckily, I
Yeah,
didn't lose too much on that. But like things like Popcat and Egg Dog and all this Solana
yeah.
shit, like I didn't do super great on. Have you been paying attention to any of the AI coins like BitTensor?
I own a good amount of that actually. Um, I have
If
for a while.
if you don't mind me asking, like what I haven't bought it yet. I have it on my chart and I like or in my like trading view list. And I look at the Tau chart every day. But like what is it? What's the thesis behind it?
To be honest, I don't really know.
That's
Um,
sick.
you, it's a, it's a, what's the one that's not Cosmos? That's basically the same thing. Polkadot. It's a Polkadot chain, a
Okay.
parachain. Um, they're currently announcing some new tokenomics like next week. I don't really give a shit to be honest. It's like
You stake it?
some sort of like Deeze. I am not staking it right now because I'm too lazy to set up the
Another wallet?
parachain
Yeah.
wallet shit. So I just have like the wrapped tau. Um, so I'm missing out on some percentage yield there. But um, I think like basically the reason that I own it is mostly just that I think it will catch a really strong bid around like AI narrative stuff, and it's one of the only like AI things that you can actually like theoretically build on top of. Like someone made like an AI chatbot with it, um, which is like kind of cool, I guess. I don't really know, um,
Like making their
but
own
so
like chat GPT with it.
yeah, and so like the idea of having like an ecosystem on top of it, I think is like pretty interesting. Um, but for the most part, I just think that like narrative wise, it'll do well.
the AI narrative seems super obvious, but like you said, there really aren't that many good tokens that you feel like you can buy them and get direct exposure to that narrative. I
Hmm.
keep going back to Prime, the parallel token, just because I can see this like AI gaming narrative with their colonies coming back. Uh, been holding a decent amount of that, and then I don't really like. There's too many AI meme coins. Like I've seen AI tokens. Like one I think was like a fake index fund on Ethereum. Another one was on Solana, but I'm waiting for some really legit like AI token that hopefully comes out. And maybe it is BitTensor, and I'm just like gonna miss it. Um,
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be more of them down the line, but that's just like the one that I have right now. I'm not like incredibly tied to it. I'm just not like I'm uber bullish on it. More just like that's one of the I think like I don't know, like you sent the list of like different kind of things like
yeah,
deep in real world assets, gaming, AI, memes, NFTs, L1s, all that. I'm like pretty comfortable totally missing the wave on like real world assets and DeFi and like ZK stuff and memes and
the
all
ZK
that. Like,
stuff just confuses the shit out of me.
yeah, but like
I feel like
AI to
that's
me
like
feels
the
like the one that,
120 IQ part of the bell curve that not that many people get or care too much about.
yeah, but
Uh,
the AI is the one that like I don't want to miss out on, and Cal feels like the kind of easiest bet there right now.
yeah. Speaking of the DeFi stuff, have you been paying any attention to the maker changes? Like I,
Um, a little bit. It's pretty fucking like convoluted, but they're
they're like
basically doing
changing the
like a
unit.
token split,
Yeah.
and then they're doing all these different sub DAOs. So I think that's really like the interesting thing. And like honestly, I'm probably going to buy some Maker. I need to. The smarter people than me have been telling me to buy Maker, so I
Dude, the
probably will.
maker run against Ethereum this summer was insane. Like from
Yeah,
maybe June up until, I mean, even now it's still doing really well, but it was down super cheap. And I remember watching it just rip versus like it went like 3x versus ETH or something over the course of a couple months.
yeah. But like I think the most interesting thing is like a lot of these sub DAOs, like Spark Protocol, and there's some other
Mhm.
ones. From the rumors that I have heard, when those sub DAOs come out, the best way to have access to those uh, governance tokens will be Maker or whatever the rebranded token is. Um, so I think that's where it's potentially interesting, and kind of like almost in the same way as like TIA or something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that there's going to be some. I mean, like the stuff about this annualized revenue is like kind of insane. Like I saw something like yesterday that it's making like $240 million a year. Like,
It's kind
it's
of
a,
mind blowing numbers.
yeah,
And like, I don't even fully understand. Do you know how they make the money? Like, where's that revenue coming from? Probably a stupid
it's
question.
borrowing fees.
Just from borrowing for DAI?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Well, like there's just a lot of outstanding DAI,
That's true.
and it's a high TVL, and they're doing stuff with like the treasury notes that they're doing and like the real world asset stuff. Um, like a bunch of Maker is in like a bunch of like the backing of Maker now is off chain like real world assets, so they're earning interest on that. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I think it'll continue to do well.
I feel like it's one of the best, like, quote unquote, old DeFi tokens to speculate on.
Yeah, I know like
And
Aave has been doing pretty well lately as well. I don't and SNX. I don't really know why to be honest. I don't know what about Aave has made it do well, but
yeah,
yeah,
Sobe's
I
been
think
big on
Maker is the most
SNX.
compelling.
He's been for like since October talking up a lot about it. But I Aave, yeah, I mean, I feel like Aave is the go-to lending and borrowing platform for ETH. But other than that, I haven't really updated my bias on, why is it doing well? Like, why is it doing better than Compound? If it is, like maybe it even isn't.
I think it is.
Um, Have you been playing the coin stock at all? Is that just like super boring and out of your wheelhouse?
I don't buy stocks. Never
Yeah.
have, never will. I don't care if it's a crypto company.
fuck,
Stocks. I don't buy
fuck
stocks.
those stocks.
Yeah,
It's just been
like
fun to
literally.
watch it rip. Like it's just been super strong. I don't have any either, but I have it on my list of like, every day I check these prices and it's been super strong. Completely missed AVAX. I'm like super biased to not buy AVAX for some reason. Uh,
Yeah, that's something that I've been trying to be better about as well with all of this, where it's like didn't own any AVAX, instead only owned Solana. But like, well, I missed out on maybe a small outperformed Solana over the last however many months by some small amount. Like, I would rather not sit in front of Dex Screener and Kraken and CoinMarketCap for 12 hours a day to rotate every trade where it's like,
it's too hard because you
yeah.
don't know what's going to rotate next. Like you're sitting here and you're looking at strength and you're like, oh, like, some of these coins have been consolidating since the middle of December. Like TIA is a good example. And INJ is another one
Hmm.
that like really went crazy, but has been consolidating for a little bit. And then you look at the other ones that are ripping now, like Say or Psy or whatever. And it's like, okay, it kind of feels like Psy is due for a month of consolidation after it just went from 20 cents to 80 cents. And maybe these tokens, like, we're seeing it today with TIA and we're seeing it with INJ. But maybe these ones who are consolidating for the last month after expanding in, early December, late November, maybe they're the ones that are due to pump again. Like, and it's just hard to time those rotations, especially
Yeah.
when every day you're on Twitter, it's like there's a different narrative. It's kind of one of the reasons I bought Arbitrum because they just made an all-time high and it's really never had a run. And it's like, okay, well, there's not really that many bag holders who are like trying to break even. Um, Maybe I'll buy some of this because it was showing recent strength. But it's really like I sit in front of this shit all day and I still don't hit the the rotations well. Like
Yeah. But
it's
yeah, so I'm
tough.
just trying to do that less and like just kind of pick the stuff that I like and hold it for the next year and a half and then sell it when it's worth a lot more. And in the meantime, if I see
Build.
something I think is interesting, buy stuff and build stuff and farm airdrops. And like, I'm not the best trader in the world, and I know that. And like, I'm not going to try to trick myself into thinking that I'll figure it out this time.
It's really important to know the type of trader you are too. Like I've realized this, I'm just way better with NFTs than I am tokens.
Hmm.
My PNL shows that, like my headspace shows I have more fun trading the NFTs. So that's kind of a reason with like the ordinals and node monkeys where I was like, hey, like this is something that I'm actually like, quote unquote good at. I should be doing that more. And like you said, just like pick some tokens and hold them and just see what happens. Like Tia's nice, get the airdrops and whatnot. But I want to talk to you a little bit about IKB. You've been pretty heads down in the lab with Nate for I want to say like 6 months almost. Does that sound right?
We've probably more so been like really working on it for like 4
Gotcha.
ish.
And the
But yeah, a while.
beta just went live. Is it the closed beta, right?
Yeah.
What for the people who are listening who may want to get involved with the beta, is it just follow the Twitter account and then send your email on the website?
Yeah. So we sent out, we had like 2,500 or so people give us their email addresses, but I'm sure like most of those people were just like airdrop hunting and have no interest in actually playing this game.
Like, oh
Um,
shit.
oh, we'll give you an email?
Have
Yeah,
you ever
sure.
gotten airdrop from sending an email, by the
No,
way?
no.
Like, I don't think I've ever gotten an airdrop for sending my email
Yeah, so it's
address.
like, why'd you waste our time with this? But so we sent out an email to anyone who ever gave us their email address that let them sign up for the closed beta. Um, and so we have probably, which is what we want. We don't have that many people playing right now. It's a pretty small number, probably 20 or so users who are coming back and playing every day. Um,
And you can
but
play for
even
real
just,
money right now too. It's not just
yeah,
the fake. Nice.
yeah, like, right. And so like we've had like $2,500 worth of pick'ems volume over the last like couple days since we went live, um, which is pretty nice. And I think we have like one player who's been a winning player so far. It's
Do you
Weish.
know who that person is
Yeah,
from
it's
like
Weish.
oh, it's Weesh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Of all the people
Um,
playing, it's Weesh.
but yeah, and so we're going to slowly start rolling out. Once we kind of wanted to keep it really small to start, just to be like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, is this working? We're not going to. It's non-custodial. Like you just keep your USDC in your wallet. You can enter on mainnet or Base. You get paid out on Base. That might change in the future, but that's how it'll work right now. And so all you do is you just log in, make a pick'em, press enter, send the USDC to a multi-sig, and it goes from there. You get automatically paid out when you win. Um, Nothing too crazy, but as we start opening up the platform more, we'll probably start by like giving people who are actively playing referral links, and they'll be able to earn points based on people's referrals and onboarding people and stuff. Start getting some more people in, but it's been
Dude,
really
we
good so
fucking
far.
love points. Yeah, yeah. Give us a ref link that we can post to get, make the points like millions of points too. Like I want to go like on margin 5 where it's like, oh, I have like 3 million points. I'm like, yeah, like I got points.
Yeah, I think what'll be fun about this is, there's been a lot of other DFS platforms with nothing to do with crypto that have done a lot of like, rewards for larger players and stuff and things like that. And having the points too there is going to be really helpful with that. Like we plan to be pretty aggressive with like our rake back and giveaways and things like that, and it'll mostly be contingent on points. Um, and so I think there's going to be some fun stuff that we can do, which will be nice. And we'll have much more. We're gonna have a lot more of like the social element too, which will be fun.
Nice. What's been the hardest part about building IKB out so far?
Um, Probably. Let's see. Hardest part. Probably. I guess we didn't raise any money for it, so we've been bootstrapping it ourselves, which is like obviously has challenges. Um, so like that's probably one thing. But then the other I would say is probably just like starting at zero on an idea is just like frustrating and takes time, and I don't like waiting around for things. So like probably just like the waiting, but now we're at a point where it's kind of all kind of ready to go, and like this will probably be the actual hardest part of like really launching and having people use it and all of that. But the hardest part up until now has probably just been, I can't contribute that much on a lot of the more complex website stuff, and so it's
Mm-hmm.
mostly Nate. And, I got married. Nate had a kid. Like we have life going on outside of work stuff too. Um, but I think one thing
How's
that's
married
been,
life? Does it feel any different?
you know,
No.
fiddle with the ring on my finger, but otherwise, no, it's the same.
Yeah, no, I felt the
Um,
same when we got married. It's like, oh, it's official, but I've looked at you as my wife for like 6 years already. So,
yeah, yeah,
what's
and
been some of
so
the like easier things about building? Like, what I'm sure there was like low hanging fruit that you learned from either fractional or maker before. Like, is it more
yeah,
like the entity stuff, like just getting it set up? Is
that's fine. Like it's pretty easy if you're not raising money because you just make an LLC.
yeah, that's true.
We don't really have any intentions of ever raising money. We kind of want to just bootstrap this thing until like we're already profitable. We're
That's
making money, and
beautiful.
so
Keep the
we don't
team
want to raise any
small.
money.
Don't raise a ton of money.
Yeah, and so we'll see. Like we'll probably, hopefully, we can get to a point where we make enough money that we can hire a couple people, but we don't want to hire a ton. We want to stay really small and lean, and like kind of our plan is to just ship stuff way faster than any other DFS company, crypto or not crypto, can ship anything. Um, and so like we launched with Pick'ems. We're gonna have Pick'em tournaments pretty soon, which I think is gonna be pretty fun. So like we've seen some of these like DraftKings has like the Pick Six where you can like you do like six Pick'ems and enter like a pool with everyone else, and whoever hits, they all get paid out of like the pot. We're gonna like kind of take it a step further and make it like a GPP where you can enter Pick'ems of any combination, any size. If you want to make a 100-way Pick'em, you can go for it. And
One
then the way that
parlay.
the the way that the contest works is, say there's like 100 entries. Every pick'em, you know how like an Underdog or on IQB, like every pick'em has like a multiplier
Yes.
of like 20x, 15x, whatever. Based on at the end of the night, every pick'em that was successful is then ranked based on multiplier, and that's the payout. And so I think there's like some really fun game theory there of like there could be a night where a 3-way pick'em ends up winning the whole thing because everyone else went for like 6 ways to try to get first place.
Can you see all the other pick'em slips that are in that pool before you enter, or is it hidden until close and then it's like
it'll
everyone
be
flips
hidden
their
until
cards
close.
up? Okay, that makes sense.
It'll look a lot like like a normal DraftKings or FanDuel tournament. But so that's like the next thing that we're going to be shipping, which I think will be really fun. Like, and we're also going to do it with alternate lines, with alternate player stats. So one thing that we're going to be rolling out pretty soon, we're just waiting for support from our providers for it, is like instead of just having higher or lower, we'll have like, say for wide receivers, for like receiving yards, higher than 20 yards, higher than 30 yards, higher than 40 yards, higher than 50, higher than 60, all of them with their own multipliers. And so you can like really pick and choose and get much more granular in all of that as opposed to just higher or lower, or sometimes there's a boost or whatever.
Just give me Amari Cooper plus 180 receiving yards.
Yeah, well, like, so if you want to do that, you can do it and it'd be a wild multiplier, or you could also do Amari Cooper over 20 receiving yards and it'd be a much lower multiplier, but you can like really pick and choose your own way there, which I think would be pretty fun.
No, I like that a lot. I feel like I'm so timid in the pick'em streets because just from an ROI perspective, I've been horrible at it. So I look at my Underdog account and I'm like, fuck, like I'm just gonna lose money doing this. But I'm sure with at least with football, I'm definitely better than like basketball and baseball. Right now, is it football and basketball only, or what?
Football and basketball only.
Yeah.
We did like a bunch of research as far as like the volume of DFS in the United States, and like there is not much reason for us to support anything other than football and basketball right now.
No, that makes sense.
So we're just gonna focus on that. Like, so we're gonna roll out these tournaments, and once we have that, we'll have like kind of the infrastructure for tournaments that exist, and then our next focus will be best ball stuff. And we have
you have things like Super Bowl odds or like MVP odds, or like say like football in the off season, after basketball is done, like that. I don't know, not March, like May, June, July, slow time.
We won't be able to because we're not a sports book.
Gotcha.
We're only doing DFS, and so it
has to be like
player.
Yeah, the game of skill stuff.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And so we won't be able to do that, but I'm hopeful that by that time we'll have some best ball contests up.
That'll be fun.
And we're gonna. I need to talk to lawyers about this first, but I think we're gonna have every best ball team be a tradable NFT.
Oh shit!
So we'll see. I really want to do it, but basically, once you draft your team, it gets minted to you as an NFT, and you can transfer it to someone else. You can do whatever, and it's just whoever owns it at the end of
Yeah, if you own it at the end, like say it's week 17, and you're like one of those people who are projected to be top 3 in BBM, you could sell your lineup ahead of time, and then see what happens. So I like that a lot. That's interesting. So for the fantasy sports stuff outside of IKB, have you been grinding NBA every day still?
Yeah, I've kind of cut back a little bit on my process. I had actually wasn't that bad, but it felt like I had a pretty tough December. Based on the numbers, it was fine. The whole thing was good. November was insane.
November was crazy. I feel like you and Crutches, like hard. Every night, one of you was top 3.
Yeah. Well, the competition has definitely gotten stronger on Underdog. More people have come over. Every once in a while, I'll see a new name who I haven't seen before, and they'll be
like, they're making smart decisions.
Yeah. So, like, one thing I'm curious to start tracking, and I can track now, is the number of people who max enter a given slate.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, last night, there were 21 players who max entered the contest. The main
that seems pretty low.
It's lower than I would have thought.
21 for the main?
Yeah, 21
Not like dunking after dark?
Yeah.
Wow. I would have thought it was like 50 plus.
Yeah. but also probably more interestingly, but not very surprising, those 21 players cumulatively had more profit than all the other entrants combined.
That makes sense. I mean, they're giving themselves. I'm sure they're sharper people. Number one,
Yeah,
most people who are playing $750+ a day are just going to be sharper because the other people like me are going to lose money over time and be like, "Whoa, wait a second." Uh,
yeah. But so it's been pretty good. I've actually been I did a lot of NFL over the last few weeks, and auto drafting it, and had pretty good success. Trying a couple different
like
strategies.
150 BRs auto drafted.
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
you looking over the lineups as they're drafting and trying to just like make sure you don't take two TEs or like get a stack? Or are you just like set
not
the ranks very
really.
similar to NBA, let it rip 15 to 25, export it, look at what you got, tweak and resend?
Kind of a bit of both. Um, what I'm mostly doing is I'm kind of so part of the reason that I think I can do it is I think that like elite tight end is a scam this year, and
Yeah.
so basically like I
You have no tight end on the ranks and you're just auto
kind of just like
taking
nuke tight end
whatever one
ranks.
in the six that's up.
And so then most of my strategy for it has actually been to basically either I essentially have like totally stopped drafting mid-round quarterbacks on Underdog.
Okay.
And I'll only draft them in the first round if it's like I'm doing a batch of drafts with Jalen Hurts as my 1-1. Like I'm taking him
Nice.
every single draft, and then I'm like, at the back of the draft, putting Dallas Goedert or whoever else for a stack. Or like I think for the most part, if you're taking a quarterback in the first round, like they probably have touchdown, like rushing touchdown potential, and you don't even have to stack them.
Yeah, it's
Um,
Hurts, it's Allen.
yeah, or Lamar and stuff like, all right, these
Yeah.
guys doesn't really matter. Or I'm taking a quarterback who is going undrafted. I'm doing one or the other, and
Just
nowhere
getting
in
the
between.
leverage on like, oh, Jordan Love might only be taken in 5% of battle royale lobbies.
Yeah, and
And
so what
is
I'll
is
do is
taking
basically try to
Jordan Love
find.
really that different than taking CJ Stroud and 100%
Yeah,
of yeah. I like
and so
that.
what I'm doing is trying to find a pairing that I think is like replaceable to a mid round quarterback and like their wide receiver one pairing, and then just auto drafting them as the last two picks of the draft every single time. And so like last week I did 50% CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, and 50% Justin Fields and DJ Moore. And that was just like, so DJ Moore was going in like the middle of the draft. I would just kind of like bump them up a little bit. And be like, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to take DJ Moore, and then take Fields in like the last round or second to last round every time. I've had pretty good success with it so far. The season's coming to an end, so who knows how much more I'll have an opportunity to do it. I'll probably try to do it again this week, but it's weird with, you know, the weird incentives and players
Do
sitting and
you
everything.
normally
So
wait till like Saturday, Sunday to do them, or do you do them throughout the week, like a little bit here and there as news comes in?
I do them throughout the week. Mostly, I actually like doing it earlier in the week, preferably,
Mm-hmm.
because I
Before the
think,
ETR ranks come out and shit.
yeah, because so like basically, so like last week, as I was looking at the quarterbacks who were going undrafted or close to undrafted, I was like, there's no way that Justin Fields should be this low. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
He's
And like,
free. Like he's going
yeah,
undrafted, and you're just
yeah,
like,
it's
what
like
the
I
fuck?
know that ETR is going to have higher ranks for Justin
They're
Fields than
gonna
this.
like Justin Fields.
And so they had him as like the QB4 or something on the weekend. So it's like I know that once that happens, he's going to start to get steamed up, and it becomes harder to do.
Yes.
And so I'd rather just at that point be the first, be early to it, and kind of make that bet and be like, so like for the most part, I'm not even like using projections too much versus just being like, I'm just gonna go off of ADP, but like move players down I don't really want. Like I don't want to have tight ends too high, or if I do have tight ends high, I want to have a lot of running backs at the start. So I'm getting two running backs at the start and then taking a tight end, or like a running back, tight end, running back. And it kind of just depends on the week. But yeah, I think that there's still space there to explore. I haven't gotten totally slaughtered doing this, which is nice.
No, that's
And
fun.
yeah, still doing NBA. Actually have a bunch of golf running today.
Oh shit.
Um,
How long have you been doing
because
golf
golf,
for? I don't think we've ever talked about underdog golf.
uh, I did a little bit last year, um, but it was like the first contest of the year, first tournament, and it's a literal no correlation sport. It's a very high variance, no correlation sport that is not incredibly projectable in a lot of ways. And so I think my general strategy of like getting kind of even to the field and doing all that works really nicely.
So
But
you're
yeah,
talking about
overall
golf.
Underdog's been good.
Nice. I've
Have you been doing
basically
playoff best ball?
since I only have like 10 drafts done for it. I honestly burn out really hard on fantasy right basically right when we went to Miami. Like that week before Miami, did some Thanksgiving stuff. I took some time off. And then I realized like, I have my spreadsheet. I'm actually up in NBA with Rakeback. I'm down like
Mm-hmm.
$200 without Rakeback. And I know I was getting like 300 plus a week back from that. So I'm up. And really, it's because of a winner take all win that I got lucky at. We drafted it on stream where I had like
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward and Mark Williams, and they put up 120 combined or something ridiculous. But I just kind of realized like, even when I'm watching the NBA, I'm not correctly processing what I'm seeing. And I don't feel like, at least in the NFL, like I can watch the players and develop some sort of opinion on like how they are, but like I could watch Cade Cunningham play 50 games and I'm gonna think he's shit every time, and then I'm still taking him in ADP. Like I have like this like rough. I don't let my takes bias my play, and then I just go off ADP, and then I think that's a losing thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know basketball well. Like I never really was a
Yeah. It's
super
not
like
super fun to play DFS for sports you don't know. Unless it's your job and you're good
no,
at
like
it,
football's
it's
nice
not that
because
fun.
of the cadence of it. It's like there's this
Mm-hmm.
weekly Sunday, you have all week to build up. Like you can spend 2 hours drafting a day in football and be like happy with what you get on Sunday. Whereas like the NBA was taking me 3 to 4 hours a day. And then I was also kind of not really engaged with like Mrs. Deeze or anybody after lock because I'm like, oh well, like man, Anthony Davis like might have diarrhea and I might need to care about this late swap scenario. And oh fuck, the ETR projection's updated, but I'm on my phone and can barely read them, and I'm trying to do my late swap. And I don't know, the stress just when you look at all the shit coining that was possible, it just felt like the opportunity cost of spending those 4 hours a day on NBA DFS wasn't worth it when you could buy some shit that goes up 50% in a day with size. Like, you could put like 5, 10, whatever, 20 grand behind something. And in the NBA, it's like there's never any night where I want to play more than $1,500. Like, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I know I don't have an edge. I'm like kind of scared. It's like on these coins, though, you can take a much bigger size, and it just feels opportunity cost wise silly for me. Um, if I was winning, though, I mean, I would keep playing, but
Yeah,
playoff
I think that
baseball,
makes
I
sense.
know there's an edge. I just haven't like I did like 10. And this was like a week or two ago. So it was kind of before some of the recent scenarios updated. Um,
Yeah, I've done a lot of playoff best ball.
are you
Yeah.
maxed? Did you max the
No, not yet. I'm working on it. I'm working
you're
on
gonna
it.
max though. Yeah, like you're on pace.
Yeah, I might be a little bit behind, but now I've been really. I've done 73 gauntlets.
That's
I've
pretty good.
done, yeah, so it's about halfway full. It's a little bit more than halfway full. So
Are you
I've been
doing them
kicking
all
around
by
doing.
hand, or are you autoing them
Doing,
like the BRs?
I'm doing them all by hand, but I'm doing four at a time.
Nice. Okay,
That's as many as I can do.
yeah, my brain can't do more than 3 at a time. Like I know when I tried to do like 10 puppies over the summer at once, that I can't. I'm building the same team and
Yeah.
5 of those 10. I'm
So, all
like,
right, hold on. Let me go to a question I was talking about in Discord today.
yeah,
Uh, with Underdog guys. I was proposing the question, and I think that I think it's interesting. Most people said they didn't like the idea. If you could replace everyone who you drafted against in Underdog with AI agents that acted exactly like Underdog users, so that you didn't have a pick timer, but your drafts were just as fast as you wanted, and everyone who played, like everyone who entered, instead of when you enter a draft, instead of being six users all drafting against each other, it's you and five AI agents that act just like users who are playing on the platform. And every draft is just one person drafting against AI. Would you do that?
I don't think so. Like, how do I know that the AI agents are behaving like Underdog users? Like, some Underdog users are really sharp, and then some Underdog users are really dumb.
Yeah,
Like,
but you can do that. Like you could just make four different agents. You can make 500, and like you basically get randomly assigned when you're under a draft. Like, oh, this is the sharp draft. They're all gonna
I mean, it
follow
feels
like
like that's a
ADP
better way to
followers
deal
or
with possible collusion. Or like, there's this idea that if you enter, depending on the draft, like I feel like it's harder to maybe do it in the big $5 150 max NBA, but like maybe more of like the single entry stuff where the lobbies are slow and you can jam a few accounts in. Like I feel like there would be like no shadow of a doubt that nothing was colluded on if it was like that.
yeah.
The
The main thing I
timing
was
would
thinking about
definitely be
for it
better.
is
Like
the
there's the people who
liquidity.
don't push the plane, and then they just
Hmm.
make you like a lot of the NBA drafts. It's like 3 people are auto drafting but didn't push the plane, and if you're not auto drafting, you're just wasting 2 minutes per round waiting for people to spend 30 seconds. So I do think the UX would be smoother. The AI, just like in general, AI in the world and how it changes what is possible is kind of crazy. Like the fact that you could even have AI agents was like not something we would have talked about 2 years ago.
Hmm.
And the fact it's changed so rapidly is like, maybe, we're talking earlier about AI gaming and Prime and stuff, and the fact that you would have an AI agent who could maybe um, play the game for you and you would just change inputs. Like that whole idea to me is very exciting. I just think there would be pushback in the beginning of people like, I draft to play against other people to beat real people. Like, is this AI? Does it feel as genuine? But I think the user experience of like not an instant draft, but instant outside of your pick
Hmm.
would be really nice. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, that was what I was pushing back on to everyone when I was talking about it. Is they were like, "Oh, like no, I don't want to draft against the robots because they'll be too good." And I was like, "No, guys, like they can be bad. Like you literally would make it so that some of the AI is bad,
Like,
and that
give
would
me
be
the
like
guy who's
intentional."
taking Carl Anthony Towns over Giannis and Ant and fucking Trey. Like, I want those people just like sprinkled in, but I guess it's hard from a platform. Is it hard from a platform way to verifiably say like, here are our AI agents and this is their like distribution curve of skill, and then it like the fifth percentile, aka the redacted tier of players, like this is how they act versus at the 95th percentile, the Giga Brain players, this is how they act. Like, how do they verify that? I'm still not really sure as I talk about it out loud.
Yeah,
But
but
I
that
do
to me
think the
too,
user
like
experience.
Underdog doesn't even verify how they match lobbies, right? Like there's like way more basic things that you would want than that. So it's like, does that even matter that much? Like no
That's
one's
true.
checking to verify that two people from the same IP address aren't drafting against each other on Underdog. Like,
Yeah. Now, I'm
so
definitely
that
more
was my
curious for the AI agent
weird idea of the
adoption.
day. And
Would
I thought
you?
about it because I've been trying to draft big mittens, and every time I join, it's 2 out of 6, and I sit for half an hour, and then I forget about it, and then I start auto drafting
That's
my $250 entry contest,
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh
that's
fuck me.
painful. The very slow entering high entry stuff, I definitely can see that. Um, I've had a few like you just said where you forget that you entered it, and then I'm somebody who has my phone on do not disturb a lot, so I don't get that Underdog notification of like it's your turn to draft or like in 60 seconds this starts. And then like you said, 3 hours later you're like, oh shit, didn't I enter it? And then you're like, oh, it already drafted an hour and a half ago, and like I got autofilled. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think in that
I
for the
literally auto
higher end
drafted an
stuff,
entire big mitten the other day.
not a good
But
lineup.
it's actually like it's not live to win the contest, but I do think it can advance. It's like a pretty good team for getting past round one, so I'm just praying I get my money back. That's all I want.
That's all you can hope for. I mean, I even with
Yeah.
slow drafts over the summer, like I always bitch about this $500 slow draft I had where I didn't realize it was my pick at like 10 p.m. And I think I drafted Drake London or Kyle Pitts, so I had auto queued Desmond Ritter as like oh, I'm gonna make sure I get him in the last round, and then I like auto drafted him at pick 88 because I was asleep and the timer
Yeah.
ticked down. Like shit like that really tilts me because then I didn't enter another $500 contest because I felt like, oh fuck, like fuck this, like I wasted my my $500 entry. But no, I think that's definitely interesting. I think the AI agent trend is something we're going to see a lot more over the next 1 or 2 years of just like it's hard to overstate, I think, how fast that tech is changing. Like I'm much more in tune with it on the art and chat GPT side than I am anywhere else. But just like how much Midjourney and Dolly and chat GPT have changed for art over the last year is insane. Um, and if that keeps going with everything else in the AI ecosystem, like the agents and the chatbots and stuff, like I'm super curious to see where it's at in a year or two, because I think we'll be using more of it. I mean, even in a dystopian sense, we have the AI mommy app where, you know, you get a Pixar mom as a girlfriend, and like people are rebelling against that on Twitter, but it maybe is more inevitable than we want it to be. I have a question about angel investing, and just like, have you made any angel investments in the last 6 months, or is there anything that excites you? Because I had not made an angel investment basically since Establish the Run in the spring of 2022, and I made 2 in the last month. So I don't know if that means the bull market's back. I don't know if that means I'm just now paying attention again, but curious if there's anything that's caught your eye on the angel or early stage investing side.
No, I haven't. To be honest, no one's really been asking me lately, which I'm pretty fine with. It's less responsibility.
Yeah. Now, the ones I've got into have been more like friend warm intros me, and it seems like kind of a no-brainer, but I don't know. I definitely was saying no to everything for like the last year. Like just a blanket, like people would send me a message, I would either ignore them or respond like, "Hey, I'm not looking for angel investment opportunities." Like the good example of this is like the Pixelmon. They did like a fucking raise for a token, and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm not like super interested in investing in you guys after what I saw when you guys first came out. Like you guys just basically killed the idea for me. Like I'm good." But there have been a couple more in the infrastructure realm of things, because I just feel like there's a lot of upside in the infrastructure, whereas like the app level is, it almost feels like a cheat code in a sense, where like if you're investing in infrastructure, you can get these like 1 billion plus fully diluted valuations that may be too high. But like on the app side of things, it's hard to expect them to go the same distance. Uh,
Yeah, I was talking to someone about this, and I was basically saying, if like all you really like, if you're a builder and truly all you care about is like over the next 4 years making as much money as like physically possible,
yes.
if you're not building a layer one or layer two, like you're a fucking idiot. You're so stupid.
It's like the opportunity cost or whatever is like 10x. Like
Yeah,
when you look at some of the apps, you're like, oh, like maybe this will be worth 150 million or 300 million. And then you look at the L1 and you're like, maybe this is like 5 billion. Like, I don't know. Like
yeah, and
you
it's
start,
like the 17th most popular L1, and you're like, I don't know,
it could be like, what?
$20 billion. How the hell does that sound?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because you kind of like, you know, just talking about, you want more apps than infrastructure because people use apps. Like not that many people use the infrastructure. They build on top of it, but like
Mm-hmm.
real use cases are normally at the application level, not the infra level. But I don't even know if I can say the ones I don't even know if they're public. I'll say it off air. But just a couple checks. I'm writing like a 10K check and a 50K check just because I think the opportunity is pretty good on them. Uh, One question I have, not related to anything crypto, is what is the best thing that you've spent $250 on or less in the last year that's made your life better?
Yeah, I saw that question. I was thinking about it. I fucking love this water bottle. I got two like
Is
really heavy duty water bottles, and
that
holy
a
this I'm
64 ounce or how
it
much
is
do you
a
fit in there?
64 ounce. I feel
Yeah.
like I have to alternate what arm I use because it's like an arm workout when I pick it up.
It's a 10
But
pound dumbbell.
not kidding, holding the handle like this, if you hold it up and it's full, I think it probably is like a 5 pound, like at least 5 pounds of like just like tension because you're holding it up like that.
Yeah.
Um, but
So did Allie
outside
get
of
you
that,
into the water bottle? Or did you do
um,
this yourself?
No, so I mean, I've never really had like a nice water bottle or anything, but I've just been I've been like taking the gym a lot more seriously lately. I've gotten like back into that in a really good way. And so then like alongside that, I've just like been trying better at being hydrated and doing all
Mm-hmm.
that. And so normally I'll just like sit at my desk with water at my desk kind of all day and just kind of drink a little bit all the time. And I just like it to be cold. And so I was like, let me just buy a really fucking big water bottle that I can put
Do
a
you
bunch of
drink
ice
like
in.
2 full ones of those a day, basically?
I only
Or
drink like three.
shit.
Um,
I something very similar. Mrs. D's got me one of the water bottles. It's not 64. I think it's 32. But you drink a lot more than when you're drinking out of a 8-ounce cup.
mhm.
Like the 8-ounce cup, I might only refill it every 4 hours, and
Yeah,
like you
'cause I
don't
don't
really
like
drink
get
that.
up and do
Yeah,
it.
you're
It's like
like,
a
I'll
whole
just
thing.
sit here. Whereas if it's in this giant container, and it for me, it has to have a straw. Like
Yeah,
if it
big
has a
straw guy.
straw, I will drink 4x more than if I have to tilt it back into my
Hmm.
mouth. It's like this
I think like
weird,
the ice is gonna get in the way and it's gonna be
yeah,
annoying.
it's like a brain freeze.
Yeah. But let's see. Let me think. Outside of that, I don't know. I've really been trying not to buy very much. I feel like I just like have most of the things that I want. Um, been spending a lot of time grilling, which I've really enjoyed.
Are
We've
you
been trying to
grilling on the
cook at
roof?
home more. Yeah, I grilled on
Let's
the
go.
roof last night. It was cold out, but I really like it. Um, and so we got like a really nice like cast iron pan
Mm-hmm.
that has like grates in it that I'll do like veggies and stuff up there while I'm cooking meat. Um, so that's been cool. Um,
What's your favorite thing to grill?
that's hard to say.
You said
So
smash burgers. I saw smash burgers
I'm
where
making smash burgers tonight actually, but that's not on the grill. That's just on the cast iron pan in here. I do want to get like I want to buy like this replacement thing to like basically do a griddle on our
uh-huh.
grill upstairs. But I haven't gotten that yet. I think I might be getting that for my birthday in a couple days.
Ooh.
I'm 30 in like 5 days, which is
Do
wild.
you feel old?
I do feel old.
I turned 30 in um like a few months ago, and just I feel 10 times older this year than I do last year. Like it's kind of a weird thing. I went to the doctors and like got a checkup, and like I got to give blood and get my blood checked and shit. And
No, I just did a blood panel this morning. You should get anyone listening to this, go get a blood panel. Talk to a medical professional and get a blood panel and have them go through it with you and learn about what's going on inside your body.
yeah, that's shit you got to take
It's good.
seriously now that like we're 30. It's not, oh, you can just blow off everything and you're fine because you're young, but it's like, oh, I need to be
Yeah.
doing like preemptive stuff. Especially
Yeah,
once you get to a
and
point where you
especially doing
have
blood, there's a lot of like indicators for future illness and things like that that you wouldn't
Mhm.
even think about.
It's you get to a point where you have a little bit of money too, and you're like, how can I effectively like spend some money to increase my longevity? And like then you start doing the preemptive stuff. Like I think I was listening to
Hmm.
Levitan talk about it on a solo pod this year too, where it was just like the technology is so much different than it was 10 years ago, for just like preemptive care and taking care of yourself, that it is kind of a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
But yeah, otherwise, I can't think of anything else that I've gotten recently. We have like the Sonos Roam speakers, or like the little $150
Mm-hmm.
speakers. Those are really nice. I like those a lot. Uh, yeah, so I was favorite thing to grill. I did grilled chicken last night. I think that's the one that has the highest like when you bake chicken versus when you grill chicken well,
Oh, it's not
like
even
the
close.
difference in flavor is like fucking night and day. It's like you're eating a different piece of meat entirely. Um, so I think that's my favorite as far as like if we're making chicken, I'm like, let me just grill it. I don't care what the weather's like outside.
I'm
It
gonna go
tastes
grill
so
it.
much better if I grill it. We did pork chops, and that was really good. Um,
Pork chops
Obviously
are
like a
slept
skirt
on.
steak. Yeah, pork chops are good. And they're pretty good for you too. They're like pretty low in fat and nicely
It's
meat.
pretty lean. You could put a bunch of good sauce on them. We
Yeah.
didn't really ever eat pork chops until 2 years ago, and then we got HelloFresh, and a lot of
Hmm.
the HelloFresh stuff had like pork chops, and yeah, you
One of the ones
realize
that
like,
I
oh, this is good.
enjoyed that we did was we did salmon on cedar planks, where we like soaked the cedar planks in white wine and then put the salmon on that and cooked that on the grill and almost like steams it with from the white wine and stuff. That was really, really tasty.
That sounds. I'm gonna have to have you. We're gonna have to have dinner at your place next in
Yeah,
2 weeks. I'm getting
definitely.
hungry thinking about this. For me, I haven't bought too many crazy things. I think the water bottles are a really good shout out. Um, Other than that, like we bought rim protectors for the Tesla, and it sounds really stupid, but I would have ruined the rims like 3 times over the last couple months if I didn't have these on the car. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know why they designed the rims the way they did, but they stick out from the tire. So if you're going to hit a curb, you're actually going to ding your rim before it hits the tire. And these protectors, like I've went through a bank drive through where it's like you're in the middle and it's really tight, and
Hmm.
you just hear like just a scraping noise, and then you pull out and there's like 3 protectors broken on the ground, but your rim's fine. And
There you
that's
go. That's
happened
what
a
you
few
wanted.
times. And other than that, like we've been spending a good amount on just getting like art framed and put in the house. I know when you were in Art Basel, you talked about picking out some stuff for the living room. Did you get that, by the way? Did they ship it yet?
No, next month, I think.
Yeah. I've had things where like I buy the physical in June and then I don't get it until January. It's like just kind of how it can go with that. But we're finally to the point where we've been like going to Restoration Hardware, planning out our
Mm.
fucking room with dimensions, like
It's fun
mapping
though.
it all out, ordering furniture, and it's been fun. It's definitely stressful because you're not like everything takes forever and everything's really expensive. And you're just like, what if I don't like it? Like, what if we spend 4 ETH or 5 ETH on this couch and it sucks? I like it in the store, but like, oh, we're getting different upholstery. And like, what if the cat fucks it up?
Yeah.
But it's been fun. I know you were
One other
getting
things I
close.
got that I liked is we got electric toothbrushes. Very nice.
Oh, yeah. The oral. Fuck. I
Yeah,
think we have
that
the
one.
Oral B.
It's like 40
Fuck.
bucks or something. My teeth feel cleaner than they ever have.
Yeah, you replace the tip like every. I think I only replace. I'm slow with it. I've replaced like every 3 months, but I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to do it sooner. It makes me want to brush my teeth, and then it has the timer, like that 2 minute timer, where it just turns off, so you know like you're done when it turns off. There's no like,
Hmm.
oh, how long have I been doing this for? Um, I haven't. I've also been buying those little flosser things, like the
Yeah, like the toothpick but floss.
yes, I floss every day because of that. Like I didn't floss ever with the
Yeah.
other shit.
Well, it's so
And
much
then
easier. You just put it in, kind of like bite down, and it goes in. You pull it out.
yeah, and I didn't realize this until going to the dentist last year that like when you floss, you're not supposed to just go like up and down in the hole. You're supposed to like push it against one side of the tooth, pull up, push it against the other side of the tooth, pull. Like I was just literally like going down, smashing my gum, pulling it up, going on to the next tooth. Uh, but yeah, I
It's
mean
still better than nothing,
that's
I'm
the
sure.
shit you learn as you become like 30 years old. You're like, oh, how do I
Yeah.
like correctly floss? Um, yeah, I know we've been going for about an hour, and you got to run soon. Um, I had another question. I'll ask it if you have anything off the top of your head. It's what's the most insightful piece of content that you've read or listened to this year? Or maybe there isn't something super insightful, but what I've been doing over the last 6 months is spending a lot of time just like binge listening to old podcasts that I didn't keep up with last bull run and trying to properly um, just think about things outside of our space. Like, been really loving Acquired and the Founders Pod, especially, but just like trying to get other unique insights that are not directly related to crypto so that maybe I can bring them back to crypto and have more unique perspectives on what we're looking at. Um, Curious if
Yeah, let's
anything.
see. I'm looking to see if there's any audiobooks I've done over the last year that I think would fit that. I'm not really much of a.
You big Audible? Is that your
Yeah,
platform?
I enjoyed Never Split the Difference. Listen to that. Um,
Oh, by Chris Voss.
yeah, I thought that was really good. Um,
I read that last year, I think. Yeah.
and yeah, I did
It's
that over
just
this
good to
year.
know like negotiating stuff to I mean, obviously it's better to make like better negotiations, but it's almost too like protective. It's like, okay, I want to make
Mhm.
sure like when I'm negotiating with other people, I'm not just like fucking myself over by being very like I'm somebody who's super agreeable and like probably not the best negotiator sometimes. And a book like that is helpful for realizing like, okay, I can take like a firm stance and still really like the person that I'm negotiating with.
Yeah, I'm like not someone who likes negotiating. Like it's not something that's not exciting to me or interesting. I'm more than
No.
happy to argue with someone about something. I love arguing, but like I'm not the person. Like if someone tells me something costs that like, a certain amount, I'm like, okay, sure.
You're not like, oh, can
Either I'm
I
gonna
get
buy it or
like
I'm not gonna buy it.
5% cheaper?
Yeah. And so I'm not sure how much I will really apply it to my everyday life, but I thought it was pretty interesting. Um,
Did you tap into the Elon Musk biography at all?
no, to be honest, I know that the Elon Musk one probably has like a lot more going on in it because of who he is, but like I am in general super disinterested in like any of like the business oriented content, like acquired and the founder spot stuff. I have like literally negative interest in listening to that stuff. Um, I don't know what it is. I don't find it interesting. I get why it's helpful. It can make you better at business and stuff, but like I don't know. It's not something that like gets me going. Um, and so like same with like the Elon stuff. Like to be honest, I just don't really care about Elon Musk. I don't really care what his story is or that much about him. So I'm sure it's interesting, but there's just like other things I'd rather spend my time learning about. Have you?
I listened to it on Audible while traveling this summer. Um, I really liked it because I think it gives a lot of well needed like perspective. It also makes me like kind of bearish on Twitter. Um,
Mm,
just like I don't know, you kind of leave it feeling like he bit off of more than he can chew. He's very good with atoms and he's very good with like very hard engineering problems in the real world. But then like
mm,
social problems are so different than physical problems. And like human psychology is not super rational.
yeah,
And it's not just like, you know, gravity works this way and forces and physics work this way. It's like humans operate in their own fucking head and it's a spectrum of behavior, even if the inputs are the same.
yeah. It's
Uh,
not like there's empirical truth to
yeah, there's
how
not
humans
like,
feel, and
E equals MC squared, but for human behavior.
yeah,
So I'm definitely like, I think it gave me a better perspective on why he's succeeded at the things that he's really good at and how he may not succeed in things he's not as good at. But in general, yeah, I can see what you're saying, where you're spending a lot of time learning about these people, and you may only walk away with like a few bits and pieces that may be applicable to your own life. I just have always been more of like I like the like history of shit, that like historian mentality.
yeah.
Um,
That's how my dad is. Like my dad's like a
like your
sucker
dad
for a
probably
good
knows like
biography.
everything about World War II, like
Oh
everything
yeah.
about old ships, like
He'll be like,
old
"Oh,
guns.
I just got the new biography about Thomas Jefferson. I couldn't be more excited to read it." And I'm like, "That's awesome, man! I could not care less about the biography of Thomas Jefferson."
No, I feel that. Yeah, I think most of the content I've consumed has been that, and then a little bit of like my first million, or it's very similar. Like people talk to people who went from like 0 to 1, whether it's they made $10 million founding something and exiting it, or they're still working on it, or whatever. Um, do you think it is good just to have like different perspectives of ways that you can get lucky or be successful, but you can
Oh
never
yeah,
copy. Like at the end of the day, it's all about, okay, what are you good at? What are your strong suits? How can you use those to make the most successful decisions possible with your unique set of skills? Like the people who read that stuff and then just try to copy what other people did, they just aren't going to have a good time because they don't have the same skills that those people had.
it's
Like
very hard to be successful in anything by copying someone else.
exactly. So I think maybe the more I read them, the more I understand that, because I think when we're younger, we're trying to find a prescription or like a thing where it's like, oh, like this person wakes up and does a cold plunge and then works out and then goes in the sauna. And like, if I just do that every morning, then like maybe I'll be successful too. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that's how it works. Like, I don't think you can just do hard things in the morning and then like your brain is going to just give you the path to make millions of dollars afterwards. Like maybe it'll make it easier to do harder things to make money in the future because you're forcing yourself to do hard things, but like you don't just like show up and do a few hard things and then make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And a lot of it too just teaches me patience. Like a lot of these people, just like Soul Price from Price Club before, like Costco and shit. Like the dude wasn't really doing anything that he was super good at until he's in his 40s. Like there's these people like the guy, I think his name's Gaston Glock, the guy behind the Glock firearms. Like I don't think he made Glocks until he was 50 years old. Like he did all this other shit in his life. And then at the age of 50 was like, oh, I could do this. And like then he does it for 30 or 40 years until he's 90 and dies. But it just kind of gives me this like longer term perspective of I'm like, we're only 30. Like we have a lot of time left to figure out what we're doing. And then it's okay to kind of transform yourself. Like, it's okay to get a new identity and shed the old one. Like for me, just working at my old job in an IT job I didn't really like, I had this certain perceived like self-perception of myself. Like I'm nerdy, I'm skill capped. I'm like never gonna make more money than that, like whatever. And then crypto things happen, and it's like, okay, I feel like a snake shedding a skin or something, where it's like I need to take on a whole new identity. I'm like not this person, first name, last name at the shitty IT job, but like now I'm Deeze on Twitter and in this space. And I don't know where I'm going with that, other than like I think it has taught me that a lot of the most successful people go through those different transformative experiences, and that like even if you're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, like you can always transform into something else. You're not really beholden to your self-image.
Yeah. Well, I think like the big thing there too is just like I think this is especially true on like crypto Twitter, but also just true on like most tech bro Twitter things, which is why I like don't really like that stuff. Is like I think so many people their like entire personal identity is caught up in like either their job or making it or making a certain amount of money, and like I think it's just like such a horrible way to live your life.
All the credentials too, like, oh, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're a Teal fellow, oh, I got an MBA from Harvard, like, oh, I got my PhD from MIT, and then I went to Facebook and worked, and then I went to Spotify and worked. And it's like you just accumulated a whole bunch of accolades that are now your identity, and that's not really exciting. Like I almost trust people more when I don't see any accolades. Like if I don't know you and I click on your Twitter profile and the first thing I read is like Forbes 30 under 30, MIT PhD, Harvard MBA, like whatever. Like I discount what they say way more than when I click on it, and it's just like I like to shit post. Like I just
Yeah.
there's like
No,
something
I
almost
totally
too
agree.
try hard about it,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel authentic.
And I think like if you like find and maybe for them that's like truly what brings them joy in life, and in that case like awesome. That is just like really not what brings me joy in life.
No.
I like what I'm working on, and I think it's like interesting and fun. But like at the end of the day, if that wasn't what I did, like as long as I can have my friends and my family and my wife and our cats and go to the gym and watch some sports, I think I'd be pretty good no matter what I was doing. Um, and so I think like when you're kind of in that mindset, it's a little bit easier to like reimagine your career or like what you're doing, because it's not like your entire identity that you've built up over time. It's instead like the thing you're doing. And if you find something that intersects your niche as well and you want to do it, like you can go for it, but it's not like, oh, I don't know if this fits my 10-year plan or something.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. I like people ask me about 10-year plans. It's like, dude, I have like a 1-year plan. Like and it's not even that locked in. It's like fluid. There's no like 10-year plan outside of want to have a kid and a healthy family. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I need to do this for my career and then within 2 years I need to jump to this thing and do it. So maybe that's what I get the most comfort in from learning about other successful people, is just like for a lot of people it's just never clear until
Hmm.
they look back in hindsight.
Yeah,
Um,
that it's not like there's this one path that success takes, and there's a million different ways you can do it.
Yeah, for sure. I know we are going over an hour, and you got to run and do some things. So
It's all right. I hear my cats
no,
battling with
go
each. So what
take
they
care of
do
Larry
when
and
they want
Lola.
to eat is they start fighting with each other because they know that it'll get our attention, and so they are fucking going
Is
in the other
Larry the
direction.
instigator in that? Like, is he
They
fighting?
both are. I mean, Larry definitely riles Lola up. But my last parting thought, and this we're getting into dangerous territory here, but we've been talking about how Larry's like definitely bored, and whether or not he needs another sibling who is younger
A
and
younger
more
male
able to
cat.
play with him. Yeah, but
We're
I think
also talking about
three
getting another
cats
cat.
definitely gets closer to like crazy cat family territory. But I don't know.
Dude, I think you should get another one. Like, I think people have a weird perception of cats still. You
It's so
obviously
easy.
you know, like it's not even close to a dog. Like, it's probably easier to take care of 10 cats than a dog. Uh,
Just the
like,
food would get expensive. But
yeah,
yeah,
I
so we
mean,
were. I was like legitimately looking online the other day. I was looking at Maine Coons,
that's what we're looking
which
at.
are yeah. I mean they're fucking cute. They don't shed. Well,
They're
like
like a
the one.
dog.
Yeah, my one issue is that like I think you might have to wipe their butts. Um,
Oh, really? Like they get so matted and hairy?
yeah, I think
Can
so.
you like groom it though? Like
Yeah, you probably
shave?
can.
I'm sure.
But I mean,
Yeah.
we have to wipe Larry's butt sometimes, so it is what it is.
Oh, we
And
never
sometimes Allie
have to
wipes
wipe
my butt.
Albus's. Like that would kind of tilt me. He threw up right before this, and I had to clean that
Mm.
up. But there's no like
No, so
ass.
Lola's fine. She's always good. Every once in a while, Larry will walk past you, and you'll be like, "Dude, you did not clean up after yourself. You gotta go clean them up." And it's pretty
You
gross,
just
honestly.
take him into the bathroom. You got like a spray hose, and you're just spraying it at his
Then he
ass. Is
fucking hates it too. You gotta like touch him and hold him, and he's so mad. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
that like a daily or a weekly thing? Like I didn't even
Um,
didn't realize.
weekly, yeah, weekly, bi-weekly. It's not super often.
Okay, it's like every time he shits,
No,
he's
definitely not.
that would be that would tilt the living shit out of me if
No,
every
yeah,
time our cat shit that I had to wipe his ass like a geriatric adult.
yeah, no, that'd be awful. But yeah, so all I have to say, Allie and I are seriously talking about potentially getting a third cat, like a young male. We were saying too, because like our one concern we have is like Larry and Lola are such good siblings, like they get along with
Mm-hmm.
each other. We've got a good thing going here that we don't want to fuck up. Um, and so like our one concern, we brought another cat in, is that would like mess up the dynamic. They would be fighting all whatever. Lola is a little bit more skittish, so like maybe she would hide or something. But so like if we got a Maine Coon, they're like in such high demand that like if we got one and had it for 2 weeks and it was just like a fucking nightmare and it didn't work, we would
I
not
might
have an
buy it
issue
off you.
giving it away. Yeah, we
Like,
would post if I posted on Twitter, I have a Maine Coon free to someone who where it will go to a good home. It'd
I
be
would
gone in
pay
a
you what
day.
you paid for them. Around
Yeah,
us, they're like I think 2 to 5 grand, depending on where you get it, what exact type of Maine Coon it is, and that
yeah.
stuff.
They're fucking cute though too. They're really cute cats.
Oh, I grew up around a couple of them. We didn't have any Maine Coons, but we had friends with them, and they
Mm,
were always the most like docile, chill cats. They were
yeah.
always around company, like they didn't ever run away, and they were just like super chill. They want to roll around on the floor, be next to you, like get rubs. They weren't scratching up couches and doing a bunch of like
Mm.
crazy stupid shit. So I have really
I
fond
think
memories of
Larry
them.
might be like half Maine Coon because one, he's really big,
He's a
but
unit.
also he like his fur is really soft. Like it's really soft, and he was found under a truck in Newark, New Jersey. So who knows what he is? Um,
Wouldn't that
but
also make Lola half Maine Coon too?
no, cats from the same litter can have different fathers. So if their
Jesus
mama was
Christ,
a
I didn't know
whore,
that.
they could have multiple dads. Um,
Mom was just getting a whole mix. Just had
Yeah,
6 different
but
kids.
because like Larry and Lola's like they're size wise they're totally different.
Hmm.
But then also like the texture of their skin and some of their other like facial features and stuff are a little bit different. And a lot of Larry's stuff does kind of feel a little bit Maine Cooney, and so we wonder if maybe mom wasn't, but like his dad was or something like that because it seems like he might be.
Well, I'm definitely all for you getting another cat.
All
And
right,
then
who knows?
if you decide you don't like it, we will talk to you about taking it off your hands,
All
because
right,
we
good to
definitely
know.
want one. But this has been fun, man. Well, I'm excited to
Yeah,
do more duo pods in 2024. I think we'll do them quite a bit more frequently. I think as the bull market picks up too, there's just like a lot more to talk about. We didn't really
yeah,
talk about too many weekly or current events, but like just shit like today, like Crypto Zoo and Logan Paul buying back customer bags and stuff. There's just a lot of fun
yeah,
stuff to talk about again. And it finally feels like a lot of people who are building for most of the bear are now delivering what they've built, and we get to dive in and check it out, play with it. Really cool to see a lot of our old Tesla teammates building cool things with new companies. I was talking to Diego about Celestia, talking to Will about IYK and a few others, but it's just cool to see like the crew building cool shit in the space, even though we're not all together anymore.
yeah. No, totally. It's actually just talking to Diego yesterday about talking to Celestia for IKB. You can
Let's
piece
go.
together why. Um, but
Hey, man,
we'll see.
I'm excited. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll
Yeah.
wrap this up. And hopefully, when people hear from us next, they'll be hearing some IRL content that we record in a couple weeks.
All right. See you soon.
All right. Thanks, Jen.